What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, dude. Thanks for joining me today. How's everybody out there in Shiny Land here? Lots of chatter coming through. We have Fatumata. Hope I say that right. I apologize if I don't. From New York City. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Sophie. How you doing? What's up, everybody? This is going to be a fun one today. It's going to be a little bit lighthearted. What's the weather like where you're at? Kirsta?
It's just starting to warm up. I can actually put my sunglasses on to keep my
Start balling?
Yeah. I
I think
mean,
you should,
that's
buddy.
that's what we use for the virtual mastermind. I was thinking of popping up after the countdown with the glasses on to
Dude,
keep my reputation up.
as soon as you guys got back from your trip to Saudi Arabia,
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah. The first call I had with you, you joined the call, you had your shades on, and you were drinking like lemonade with a straw. I was like, this dude is balling out. It was awesome. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Jamie from Kentucky, Ba from Morocco. How you doing? Shiny 57 degrees in Ohio. I'm in Kansas City. It is about 55 degrees right now, but I'm telling you, it has been an absolute roller coaster in Kansas City for the last month. I mean, it was like 75 degrees earlier this week on Tuesday, and the next day it snowed a little bit. It was just like the whiplash is insane, and it feels like it's done that probably once a week for a month. It's getting rough. Let's see, quick and easy recipes. That's an interesting page name. Hi from Texas. Welcome. Michelle from Florida. How you doing? Happy Friday from Wisconsin. It's 35 and sunny, coffee hot. Love it. Welcome, Dave. Today's going to be a little bit different than normal. We're going to do kind of a Q&A, Mother's Day edition. It's going to be lighthearted. Obviously, we want to help you scale. We want to help you get more sales. We want to help you take advantage of this, what I think is the greatest entrepreneurial opportunity in the world, ShineOn. And we want to do everything we can to help with that. So ask away your questions. You can talk about mindset, future of the company, best niches to get into, ways to scale, managing cash flow, new scaling strategies, and on and on and on. We'll take it all. Before we do, though, you know how we like to kick things off? We do a little digital marketer's toast around here. For those that are unacquainted, this is going to be the best part of your week. This will be the best part of your week every week. Every Friday, you're going to tune in just to get the dopamine hit that is the digital marketer's toast. It literally makes everything better. This is how you kick off a great weekend, right? I get reports every week that people feel tinglies when they do this. I get reports every week that people have extra money deposited in their bank account from strange sources, that their CPMs go down on their campaigns, right? So this is the elixir that makes the world go round. Everybody ready? Raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, and flasks, and join me now for the Digital Marketer's Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs, higher CTRs, much higher CVRs to enable ad accounts and big bank accounts, upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sales, to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also your email flows. Are you ready? Drink up. There we go. There we go. There was some disease that just got carried on the wind into some new vegetation in some place that was going to cause a famine, and it just died. It just died on the spot because of the digital marketer's toast. We just saved the world from famine, people. That's how magical I think it is anyway. All right, do me a favor. If you enjoy showing up here, you enjoy our silly antics, but also the education and the knowledge bombs we drop, like this post, heart the post, love the post. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the stuff that YouTube really likes. We really appreciate it. It tickles the algorithm, right? And it brings our post higher up. It allows more people to find us. We sincerely appreciate that. All right, testimonials. Vicky, first sale this week. Thanks for sharing that with us, Vicky. It's always amazing to see people get their first sale. The first dollar you make online is life-changing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody we feature here every week, these testimonials, all these people get swag. They get some free ShineOn swag. So Vicky, thanks for being brave enough to share. You've got some swag coming your way. Soli, I hope I said that right. Apologize if I didn't. Super excited, first sale. Congratulations. Welcome to the fold, right? Give her an applause, a round of applause, everybody. I love to see the first sales. And Soli, you've got some swag coming your way to make it memorable. Finally, we have Anita. Anita just received my first sale through Etsy today. Opened the store 5 days ago. It's amazing. I think ShineOn is the greatest entrepreneurial opportunity in the history of the world. You literally get to sell products you've never seen to customers you've never met using distribution channels that rival any of the big box stores anywhere on the planet for literally pennies on the dollar. It's absolutely unfreaking believable what you can do from an office chair in your own home these days. It's unreal. So, Anita, thank you so much for sharing. You've got some swag coming your way. If you want some free swag too, each week we draw 2 to 5 posts randomly from the group, and we give people swag. If you get featured here, you'll get maybe a t-shirt, a mug, something cool from us. The type of posts we're looking for testimonials with screenshots. Now, it doesn't just have to be your first sale. It can be your first $10,000, your first $100,000, new milestones, anything like that. Value posts. So if you share what's working for you, we love to see that kind of stuff, the educational type posts, and then tips, tricks, hacks, things like that. All right, latest news. We're going to blow through this. Shipping cutoffs for Mother's Day. We have announced these. Graphic pendants, April 28th. Engrave only, May 1st. Message cards, May 2nd. And then metal wall art, April 28th. So message cards obviously have extended selling period there, followed by the engraved only items, followed by graphic pendants and metal art. So this is posted in the group. If you want to find it, just click featured at the top and you'll be able to find this graphic and reference it in the future anytime you want. Also, we offer coaching.shineon.com. Kirsta is here with me. Kirsta here throws up these insane numbers, absolutely insane numbers. Here's kind of a testimonial we had from Washington. Note the start of the steep climb in March 7th, which is when I started implementing TikTok scaling strategy. I learned during the call the same day. So Washington's in the coaching program, and he was on a call with Kirsta. Kirsta shared a strategy, and then Washington implemented it right here, and you can just see the scale after the strategy was implemented. So Kirsta keeps things literally on the cutting edge. He's like our data scientist over here. He's constantly doing new tests in his little laboratory, and he comes out with some really cool stuff. Kirsta, you have anything you want to say to this?
Yeah, literally is my new laboratory. Like, I'm in my office finally. But yeah, like I've had so many success stories, and it's just amazing to see like other people do numbers that I do. It's so much more gratifying, helping others do what you do. And yeah, I think we have potential for a few Mother's Day winners in the coaching group in the next week. There's quite a few which are sort of onto something, so we'll see how those pan out. And potentially myself, like I can probably do similar numbers, which I did in Q4 if we have the right product. So all of the strategies which I use and all of the new developments which I figure out, whether it be creatives or whether it be strategy-wise, offer hacking, so not just like, product, this is our product and this is standard offer which everyone's selling, like how we can manipulate the offer to make it look more attractive to buyers and so on and so forth. So really diving deep into all aspects of ways that we can find an edge. So yeah, I think a couple of years ago it was just like one little edge, like just changing the creative, which made my first product go into the 7 figures. So it's like little things like that can make such a significant difference. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, when you start to stack all the little edges you find on top of each other, you start to see an increase that's of an order of magnitude. You start to see exponential increases and not linear gains. Yep. So anyway, the stuff that you come up with, dude, I have to give you props anyway, because you think about crap I'd just never think of. It's pretty impressive. If anybody saw the Coffee with Michael we did with Kirsta 3 or 4 weeks ago, you definitely need to watch that if you haven't. But Kirsten went through a bunch of TikTok creatives and that they've created and are testing. How to create the ads. He went through some testing strategies. It was a really great one. We actually had to take it down momentarily. We will be posting it though again soon. So if you can't find it, keep your eye on the YouTube channel. It'll be out maybe early next week. All right. So the only other thing I was going to say was, I don't think I'm exaggerating here. I literally believe this. I think that Kirsta is likely one of the top 5 TikTok marketers on the planet right now. Keep in mind, TikTok's a relatively new platform, but we are putting up some serious numbers over here with this print-on-demand jewelry. So it's pretty impressive. If you want to get involved with the coaching, go to coaching.shineon.com, coaching.shineon.com. All right, next, Mario. Mario was here last week, I believe it was. And Mario has started a new program with ShineOn where he will do done with you scaling. So if you're brand new and you've never scaled a product before, this might be an incredible opportunity for you. If you have a winning product right now, you have something that's selling well, hop on a free call with Mario and find out if this is right for you. You can go to ShineOnScalingWithMario.com, ShineOnScalingWithMario.com, and talk it out. If it looks like you have a winner and there's potential there, Mario will literally scale your product for you. So on your own, you may, especially if you're new, you may have only been able to take the product to $50,000 or $100,000 in revenue, but perhaps with Mario's help, you can multiply that 5 or 10x, right? Go to $500,000 in revenue or $1 million in revenue. If it's the first time you've ever scaled, I guarantee you're going to leave meat on the bone. There's just a lot of moving parts, and it is very helpful to be able to pick the brain of somebody that's scaled before. And in this program, Mario will literally get in your ads manager and do scaling with you. So it's a really cool program. ShineOnScalingWithMario.com if you want to check that out. All right, next, we put out our shots of espresso every week. If you want to see those, click here on the featured button inside the Facebook group. Click featured right there. It'll show you everything that we have pinned or made an announcement in the group. All the cool stuff, all the announcements, all the new products, new features, shots of espresso, coffee with Michaels, all the good stuff finds its way there. So click featured to get a recap of that. All right, so we are doing Q&A today, people. Q&A. How's everybody doing here? I'm going to start going through the comments. Do me a favor. Drop your questions now. Just start dropping some questions. You can literally ask about anything. You can ask about scaling, right? If you have a product you're trying to figure out how to scale, you can ask about cash flow, how we manage cash flow when we're scaling to really big numbers. You can ask about mindset. Mindset is something that is very often overlooked, but critically important. I know Kirsten and I both very much agree on this. Mindset is one of the most important aspects to this whole game. You can ask us about Mother's Day niches, best-selling jewelry products. Right now, we've done a lot of analysis over the last 3 weeks. We identified probably 8 to 10 items at ShineOn that just tend to sell way better than everything else. And we're actually going to be making some changes to our catalog soon to emphasize those items for everybody. If you want to ask about that, go ahead. Future ShineOn, we have all kinds of stuff planned this year. New product categories. We have new machines, new capacity coming out. We have better delivery times and fulfillment processes that are going to be actualized here over the summer. So we're going to see basically reduced fulfillment times for you at a higher quality. We're improving support. We have new coaching stuff. I mean, we've got all kinds of things coming out. We'll be an open book as much as I can be. Feel free to ask about it, and we will share. Coming product categories, kind of covered that. Support improvements. Yeah, so just start dropping us some questions here. Let me scroll up in the comments. Congrats, everyone. That must have been from the, yep, that was from the testimonials. Appreciate that. Bill says, thanks, Michael and Kirsta. Thank you, Bill, for being here, buddy. Let's see. Sandy, she put the deadlines, the shipping deadlines on her Etsy shop. That's probably smart to do. Let's see here. Can't wait to start the coaching from Gail. Well, coaching.shineon.com to sign up. Kirsta is a ninja and an awesome coach. The support and the coaching is incredible. So props, dude. People
Thanks. Appreciate the words of kindness.
Let's see. Gail says, loving TikTok. All right, here we go. First one. Any copywriting tips for selling forever linked necklace at the suggested price without the customer seeing it is too expensive? It's kind of a big question. Any copywriting tips? Hang on. Any copy? I'm gonna try to write these down so we can all stay on the same page. Copywriting tips for forever linked to sell at suggested. Let's see, at the high selling price, something like that. All right, Kirsta, you want to take a swing at this one, or you want me to do it?
I'll go. So copywriting tips for selling a product. I think it's not really so much about the copywriting. So when we sell jewelry, it's more about the perceived value. So it's more about like where they're landing and how, like which pictures you use with your products, how it's perceived. So a lot of the products that we do, we use like UGCs. So we use like a studio, then UGC, then the product in hand. So we make the product look way more expensive than what it is, and then they look like they're getting a good deal. So it's more about lifting the perceived value. So the pictures can help your landing page visually, like make sure your branding is consistent. You've got like a nice looking logo and et cetera, et cetera. So all of this stuff, when they land, if your brand looks really established and expensive, like you pretty much copywriting will be looked over. They'll look at the price and they'll look at the pictures. Based on like me doing analysis of a lot of people going to the landing page, like they time and time again just skip over all of the copywriting. Like they're more interested in looking at the pictures, the offer, and who you are as a brand. So they'll go right into the bottom and see, you have story, you have privacy policy, and then they'll scroll back up. So they check those sorts of things. Very, very rarely do they read the copywriting. So it's more about your look and visually, like tell a story on your landing page. I don't really focus on the copywriting itself.
Yeah, I agree with this 100%. If you're going to focus on copywriting anywhere, it's going to be in the title and then potentially the very first line of the product description. But even then, you've got to do something with that first line in the product description to make it stand out. You're going to have to like bold it or make it a different color or something like that. And to keep in mind, every change you make, you need to make sure it's kind of in line with the brand. You need people to trust what you're doing. So if you add a bunch of weird colors that don't jive with the theme, or you use some weird fancy font that isn't anywhere else on the site, it starts to feel cheap and like a drop shipping site. So there's going to be a trade-off to do some of that stuff. But if you're going to do any copywriting at all, those are the two places that I've seen it work. But to Kirsta's point, I mean, 80% of it is probably 90% of that whole experience is going to come down to how people feel when they hit the site. Is the branding on point? Do the colors work? Like, does it feel professional? Do you have trust elements on your site to where like there's nothing there, no red flags that's going to prevent them from pulling out their credit card and giving you their information, things like that. So I agree with everything Kurt shared here. Let's move on to another one. I'm going to try to move. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. If anybody wants to join us here on the call, I'll do that too. I can drop I'll drop the link on the call. It'll be dicey. But if you'd like to come on and speak with us live, let me know in the chat. Maybe I'll do that. If you want to, tell you what, if you want a link to come join us live, now you'll need a webcam and you need to be dressed and you need a decent mic. Well, you can use your phone, by the way. That would be acceptable. Let me know down below. Let's see. What emoji do we want? I want my UFO emoji. If you want me to drop the live link to come join us, give me some UFO emojis down in the chat. All right. Here's another one. What ad platforms have you used and found successful? That's an easy one. Go ahead, though. I'll let you take first swing.
So I'm open to all platforms. So at the moment, we're running TikTok, we're running Snapchat, we're running Facebook, Instagram, Google, and a whole bunch of other platforms. So it's pretty open to what platforms you use. Also doing Etsy, and pretty much our fingers are in everything, right? So my whole job is to play around with all of these and figure out how to break them and how to put them back together. So then, you have a recipe in coaching, or, our info products which come out in the future. So pretty much all platforms. It's just when you're starting out, I'll probably stick with one and get familiar with it. And then after you have some experience and potentially scale a product, then you can branch out into others. Because right now, there was an advantage for TikTok, like TikTok CPMs and all that were lower than a Facebook, but right now they're kind of like even. So question in coaching was, which platform do I advertise on if I had to pick one? Well, really, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. So try and master a platform first. So whether it be Facebook or whether it be TikTok, because you'll find that, a winning product on either platform will be a winning product on all platforms. So I'd suggest starting with one which you may be familiar with, and then continuing with that one, and then moving to the other platforms. But I've used pretty much all platforms, and once you know one platform, you can kind of adapt to the other platforms. So you just really just need to understand how the whole ecosystem works, like pixels and ad creatives, budgets, risk management, all that sort of expertise, and then basically that carries over to all the platforms.
Yeah, I agree with Kirsta. So I think any platform can work, but to Kirsta's point, you kind of need to pick one to learn the fundamentals, because once you have the fundamentals, those will transfer to the other platforms, right? So it's like, you want to do things that will kind of reduce your learning curve as much as possible, especially if you're starting out, because there are just so many variables out there. And picking a single platform like Facebook or TikTok, something where there's going to be a lot of material out there for you to consume and kind of learn the ropes on, is going to be smart. But once you have it, then you can start to experiment with the other platforms that you might be interested in that aren't Facebook and TikTok. I know, for example, I just for years have been fascinated with the idea of scaling campaigns on native ads, right? Just for years. But the thing is I didn't want to start there, because it's you got to learn the fundamentals elsewhere, and there's not nearly as much material on how to do well with native ads as there was with Facebook and Google and now TikTok. So totally agree with Kirsten on that. All right, let's go to another one. Gary Hare here asks, is there a bad day to scale? I'm increasing budgets on a winning product. I don't want to screw it up. Kirsta.
Yeah, I guess there is bad days. There's always bad and good days. It's about timing and volume. So if you have a Mother's Day product right now, no doubt the volume will start after Easter, and more so the last week. Oh crap, I forgot a gift, sort of thing. So it's more likely a timing thing as well. So no, if you're scaling gradually, 20% or 50% increases a day, then you should be okay to scale that much. But if you're aggressively scaling and you're going from say $100 to $500 or $500 to $2,000, if you're doing bigger jumps, I probably stay cautious until there's increased volume. So that'll likely start to happen next week onwards, so after Easter. And normally you'll find that weekends are a bit tougher in terms of auction. So you'll find that a lot of the big brands like advertising on the weekend, because that's when they have the most amount of volume for their sales. So it can be quite competitive. So just keep that in mind. So normally, if you're just gradually scaling, you should be okay. Because if you're gradually scaling, you should be looking at 3-day metrics and seeing where you're at after 3 days. So even if you break even or slight loss, on a day that you scale, the preceding day should, counteract that slight loss or break even point. So yes, there is bad days to scale, and you can kind of feel a bad day in your metrics anyway. So if you sort of see the day starting bad, most of the times it will proceed bad. So if you see the day starting bad, so all the metrics are bad and you don't have purchases, for example, that's probably a good sign that the day is not going to be bad. So you can pause the ads for that day and continue on the following days. Or you can not scale the budgets or not increase any budgets or add anything on that particular day. So you can kind of get a feel for a bad day. It'll show itself. Like when everything looks like it's gonna fall over, it most likely will at that point.
Yeah, every time I've ever scaled super hard, most of the scaling takes place Monday through Friday, and then the weekends for me have always been relatively flat. So what I'll do is like Monday hits, I'll slam my foot on the gas pedal all the way till Friday, and then I'll take my foot off the gas pedal and coast through the weekend, and I do it again the following Monday. All right, let's go to the next one here. So Tosh, I think this is like Tasa, maybe. Why is it that we are so unsure about the designs we make? Does it ever get better or easier? Look, I'll kind of maybe take that one here. The question is basically, does confidence grow with experience? And I think the answer to that question is yes, right? That's really what this one kind of comes down to. So the only thing I would say that's a little different is what you'll learn through repetition here is kind of what designs and phrases work and what doesn't, right? And every single time you do a phrase or design, it should be a learning opportunity. You should be trying to pull lessons out of it. And as you pull those lessons out and you get better at it, you'll grow more confident over time. But I would also say this, and Kirsta, I'm going to pass this to you in a second, that you should never be married to a phrase or design. It should, like, over time, and you'll develop this, you'll get more and more kind of detached from the phrase and the design, and it becomes far more about the results, right? So like, you're not going to be emotionally committed to what you're creating. You realize that you are literally creating an experiment, and if it wants to live, it needs to earn the right to live, right? Meaning that it goes out into the marketplace and it gets you sales. It performs well in campaigns. And if it doesn't, you should have no qualms. There should be no emotional attachments that prevent you from turning it off. So over time, you'll grow more detached because you'll become more results oriented. Anyway, Kirsta, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that that's a common issue. A lot of people get attached to their designs, and it's the amount of effort and time that they put into them. And the thing which happens commonly is that people get turned off because they start second guessing themselves with their designs because they're not getting sales. Whether putting in all of the effort, they're following all the steps that we're putting out. But look, it's all about the consistency and continually testing and learning from every test, right? So a lot of what my success has been from is consistency. So I'm always putting out tests. I'm always improving on whatever I did last time. Creatives, I'm trying to adapt and change, testing different angles and offers. So always trying to improve. So I'm glad you mentioned like the mindset as another topic as well, because this is one which is really important. So you do need to work on your mindset. You kind of need to pull away from expectations. So don't have any expectations of your designs. Just be a robot and put them out there and see what it gives you back. Be Facebook. Like, just be what Facebook is. It's just giving you this numbers back, and you interpret that. That's all you need to do. Like, just zone out and focus in on digesting the information which you have at hand, and take the learnings on the chin, because really anyone can break into a winning product. It's literally amazing. Like, if you just have that consistency, you have the potential of hitting that winning product. If you don't have that consistency and you give up at some point of time, like let's say, for example, you're testing products and then you give up on this one, but the next one you had like just goes to the moon, right? Like, you miss out on that potential next one being your winning product. So it's all about consistency and having your right risk tolerance in place, so that way you can have that consistency. And this is on this particular topic, like in coaching, everyone likes my analogies where I compare it to like top sportsmen. So like in the Formula One, right? You have teams that go into every year, they may not be in the top, but they always compete and they're always trying to get the number one spot or win the championship, right? So, even myself, right, I've been sort of a top seller for years, consistency. There's nothing stopping another seller from our community just taking that lead, right? So I think Q3 last year, it was a member from coaching that was exceeding my sales. So, that anyone here has the same sort of chance. So if you have that consistency, you have that chance to be that next potential winner, right? So it's all about the consistency and not giving up, and just making sure that you detach yourself from the outcome. Because if you have that consistency, you put yourself in a good chance for that success, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's, the analogy I like to use is baseball. For me, it's kind of like you just want as many at bats as you can possibly get, because most of the time, right, you're going to either strike out or just have a few base hits, but every now and then you're going to hit a grand slam, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is the grand slams have such outsized returns that it makes all those at bats worth it. It pays for all the at bats, so to speak. Jeff Bezos has an incredible quote around this, by the way. Maybe I'll read it here before we hop off. Okay, I'm going to go to another question. This one is from Gail. So my budget is tighter. Do people really build from the bottom up? So I think what the question is here is, can people really start from just, a few hundred or maybe a few $1,000? Go ahead. Why don't you start with your personal experience? Like, how much did you kind of start with? And then I'll share mine.
So I started with more capital than I should have. And that led to being several thousands of dollars in losses, because I thought, I'm going to get an agency and they're experts and they're going to do all the marketing for me, and I just need to, create the sign, that sort of stuff. So that didn't pan out. But when I took it on board and, worked with a tighter budget, it's definitely possible. For scaling and going more aggressive, I think that you should at least have a small credit line available. Don't go way beyond your means. Maybe like 5x or 10x your daily budget as a sort of limit there, and then just invest it, because a winning product, can yield really good results. But I wouldn't, recommend exaggerated risk as well. So it's definitely possible. And, I think that you can, easily make hundreds of dollars a day with, several $100s of ad spend. So I think it's very possible to start with a low budget and build up.
Yeah. So when I, the first time I ever scaled, I had a credit card that I think had like a $10,000 line of credit on it. And I remember that I was doubling my budget or my ad spend every single day. And that adds up quickly, people. I mean, it's like, if it's $500 one day, 1,000 the next, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, like suddenly you're hitting really big numbers in just a few days. And I remember I was in this mad scramble to manage kind of my lines of credit and stuff so that I could keep the cash flow going. And I eventually called my credit card company and I asked for an increase in my line of credit. And what they were able to do is, instead of giving me an increase, like bumping my card from $10,000 to $30,000 permanently, they gave me a temporary increase, because they saw the sales coming in and they saw that I could pay it off. We were also right around a holiday, so that they knew like the story I was telling them made sense, and they gave me a temporary increase. So I think I went from $10,000 to $25,000 or something on that temporary increase, and that helped. But even without the credit card, I likely would have tried to continue to scale with what I had in my bank account. Now, there's a few things to kind of note here. I started with, I think when I started my e-commerce experiment, I only had like 500 or $1,000, and I was able to kind of rapidly learn the fundamentals and at least maintain break even until I hit some marginal winners to kind of build my account a little bit. But when I hit my first scaling product, I can't imagine I had more than $1,500 in my account specifically set aside for this purpose. So back to the question now, do people really start with only a few hundred or a few $1,000s? I think without a doubt, the answer is yes. This is why I think ShineOn, I keep saying it, but it's really why I think it's one of the greatest opportunities in the history of the world. I mean, for a few $100s, a few $1,000s, you have the opportunity to get an at bat, right? To stand at the plate, hit a grand slam, and have incredible outsized returns. I think on my first scaling run I ever did, however many years ago it was, I turned $1,500 into something like $40,000 in a few days. And that, like, the first time you do that, it's a, you see the code in the matrix type moment. It's a there is no spoon kind of moment. You suddenly realize the incredible potential and power of what we're doing here with e-commerce and with print on demand and things like that. So I think the answer is yes. You, as a relatively new person to the game, can come in, you can quickly learn the fundamentals, and with a few $1,000s, you can scale to the moon if you hit the right winning product. Now, I want to add a disclaimer out there. You know, all of that's possible, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. You still need a good grasp of the fundamentals, like we talked about a moment ago. You still need to kind of know how to scale. Knowing how to test is one thing. Once you hit a winner, what are you going to do with it? You kind of got to know what to do there. I mean, there's still a skill set that you have to develop around this to maximize your potential. So I don't want to make it sound, I don't want to, kind of sugarcoat it and make it oversell it, but it's definitely possible. So, all right, let's go to another question here. This one's from Sandy. Mindset question: getting discouraged on Etsy with all the changes that have occurred since August. So, Kirsta, why don't we here's kind of the question as I hear it. Now, I know it's specific to Etsy, but I feel like the question is more like, I'm getting discouraged, right? Well, no, I guess it's more specific than that. I'm discouraged due to the changes on X platform. What should I do? Or how should I handle it? Maybe. How should I handle it? That's more the question to me. I think we should speak specifically to the stuff with Etsy, but Kirsta, you want to take a swing at this first?
Yeah, I guess it's to do with Etsy's rate increase. So the amount that Etsy is taking for fees is increasing. So therefore, people are putting in so much effort, and their returns decreasing. I mean, for the most part, you have to appreciate that. With the ShineOn integration, your overheads are very, very small compared to the other sellers on Etsy. So you're at a huge advantage already. And you take home a pretty good chunk of change. So compared to other offers, I think Etsy is still a good platform. But if it shouldn't really discourage you, it should empower you and encourage to invest your time in other platforms as well. So maybe instead of spending 70% of your time in Etsy, 100% of your time in Etsy, you can invest 30% of your time in learning a new marketing skill, whether it be Google, whether it be Facebook, TikTok. Invest your time into something else, because you never know, that other channel which you invest may become your main channel, and you then split it like 70-30, like we did in quarter one. So we were 70-30 on TikTok and Facebook, and we started TikTok late last year. So, it could be the same situation for you with Etsy. So maybe you do Etsy and TikTok, and then TikTok becomes your main channel and Etsy becomes your backup channel. But right now, I think, we're back to like 50-50 with Facebook and TikTok. So, spending your time and investing in another skill, that should encourage yourself and empower yourself to push yourself forward, because nothing, even if you don't pan out on a new platform, I think that you have the best possible chance for going forward. So definitely, and you never lose on investing in yourself.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. Like, look, if I see this as an opportunity, if you're feeling discouraged, so is everybody else, right? So if you hang on, congratulations, because it means that the number of competitors you have just got smaller. Because if you're feeling it, so is everyone else, and a good number of those people are going to leave, right? And that's going to leave you with a smaller pool of competitors to contend with. So it's an opportunity in that sense, in my opinion. Two, it's an opportunity because you're going to get to learn a little bit something about yourself. This is about the grit. This is about holding on to something and not giving up. It's about learning perseverance and long suffering, even like figuring out how to get through the mental barriers that are making you want to quit right now. If you push through it, you will learn something about yourself. So there's another advantage to sticking with it. And then three, I think what Kirsta said is totally on point. Use this as an opportunity not to give up, but also to pivot, right? To pivot around the market and maybe try some other platforms. Maybe try to get into Amazon. If you haven't done Amazon, Amazon's marketplace is like 50 times larger than Etsy's. I mean, the volume of buyers on Amazon absolutely 100% dwarfs what's on Etsy. So you have a huge opportunity to perhaps pivot into another platform and take advantage of that. So what I would say, and this goes for not just the stuff going on with Etsy, anytime you feel discouraged in life, and I'm not speaking to Sandy here, but just in general, it's an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself, to develop grit, perseverance, long suffering, to learn how to stay in discomfort, which will take you really far in life, believe it or not. It also, specifically for things like this, if you can just hang on longer than the people to the left and right of you, before you know it, you may be the last person hanging on, right? And there may be unique advantages and optionality that comes with that. So I always, tend to see opportunity in situations like this. But anyways, that's a really good question. I love the mindset stuff because I feel like it's quite overlooked in the community, and mindset's a huge part of this game. All right,
Yep.
I'm going to go on. We got a lot of questions here, so I think we're kind of moving at a decent clip. But let's maybe try to keep our answers to maybe 60 seconds apiece. I don't know.
Yep.
All right, next one. What are the Mother's Day niches you recommend?
All of them: mother-in-law, mother, daughter-in-law. Like everything's on the table. Like it's more about understanding your audience and what they want. So go out and look for, mother to daughter-in-law quotes, maybe letters, so on and so forth. Like really understand what your audience wants, because if you understand what your audience wants, then when you create the phrase, it makes it easier for yourself. So you'll find that like a daughter-in-law or a mother-in-law phrase will vary a lot from what like a normal mother to daughter to mother phrase will look like. So do your research, really dive into the niches and go and see like how they communicate. And then once you understand how they communicate, you can really tailor a product to them. So all of the niches on the table, like we saw like some really interesting niche last year that we wouldn't have expected even existed, but anything is possible, right?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered that one. I'm going to move on to the next one. Let's see. Any tips on choosing what upsell to add to a product? Can you add two kinds of earrings, give them a choice, or would that confuse the buyer? You can take first stab at all these, man.
So I would test with no upsell first and then add upsells after, because you kind of need to qualify the product first and see if they're going to buy the product, and then I would test upsells after that. So, um, and I pick um, one earring which is catered to the product. So if you're going with love knot, go with love knot earrings. If you're going with alluring or forever love, probably like the standard stud earrings will be a better choice. So it depends on which necklace, and you kind of just need to use common sense, like what you think would pair well, because I think the love knot ones are really catered to the love knot necklace. I'm not saying you couldn't sell them with other products, but you have a higher hit rate of that. But again, if you're just testing phrases and you're not scaling, I probably stick with just testing the product, because you kind of want to get as much information on the product itself without the upsells. Upsells I add on after, I test several phrases, then I add those upsells.
Yeah. So very often, what works well as an upsell is sometimes more jewelry, like more message card jewelry. Obviously, it depends on the niche and things like that. For example, Mother's Day. If you get a Mother's Day winner kind of on the front end, well, during checkout, you got to think, what are some other, if someone's buying a Mother's Day product, what else might they be interested in buying? Well, very often, if they're buying a Mother's Day product, it could be that they have a mother-in-law they want to buy for. It could be a grandmother they want to buy for. Probably in fewer circumstances, maybe they have a daughter, like an older daughter that's got a baby as well, like they're a grandparent, maybe they're buying for their daughter. So you have some other upsells you can tack on to the back end that are also message card jewelry. The problem is, and I think this goes back to Kirsta's point, you kind of need to get your hero product dialed in first, because you don't always know what upsells are going to work with it, right? So if you want to keep your testing rapid and quick, the easiest way to do that is just test the hero product in isolation, get one of those working, and then go start to work on the rest of the funnel to squeeze as much juice out of it as you possibly can. All right. Thanks, Kirst. Next. Let's see. Sheila, Kirsta, will you share your results with best-selling tips for metal art?
So I've tested metal art more so on TikTok than I have on Facebook. I'm going to start testing on Facebook again. I haven't really had a chance to dive into it too much on Facebook, but for metal art, it's more about showing the product. I'd strongly recommend ordering a sample and showcasing it, in potential places where you would hang it. You don't necessarily have to hang it, but like that sort of UGC style video would help selling that particular type of products. And when you're doing like TikTok's ads, make sure that you test different hooks. So the first 3 seconds, like we did in our example, like the past in the past coffee with Michael a couple of weeks ago, basically you can test the first 3 seconds. One hanging it up, one unboxing it. You can test different angles for the creative. So test different creative variations. Get it in hand. You can start with slideshow. That's good enough, but I'd strongly recommend for scaling getting like the actual sign and creating your own content around it. But like to get to the one that you want to order, you can test several slideshows at low budget to see which one has like the best metrics or which one gets a purchase sort of thing, so you can get some insight as to what to order when you want to create your own content around it.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we're finding that the metal art converts probably 30 or 40% better with live preview on the page, and we don't have that natively at ShineOn quite yet. So we are working on a live preview functionality. It's probably going to come after Mother's Day, but that is really essential to making metal art work. So I agree with all of Kirsta's points, but also on that product page, especially if it's a personalized type item where they can write their name or a date or something like that, you really want to get live preview figured out. You can do it on your own with Product Personalizer and some other tools, but we're working on a homegrown solution that just kind of works right out of the box for you for free too. So, all right, let's go to a different one. I'm going to try to start changing this up a little bit. This one I think is pretty good from Sheila. What are the 8 top selling products for Mother's Day? Go ahead and take a stab, and I'll try to round it out if you don't get to 8.
All right. So this is something we discussed in coaching as well. A lot of people have forgotten ShineOn products from a couple of years ago. So you've got your heart pendants, you've got your heart buy upload pendants. Buy upload bangles. There's a lot of hot selling products that people have forgotten about from our catalog. So I'll highlight those. The personalized products like the engraving. What's it called? The stick necklace. The engraving stick necklace like that. You can put like the names of children, or you can put the mum's name on that. You've got all of the message card jewelry, so whether it be love not, forever love, alluring, eternal hope, the new release, the chain, I forgot the name of it. So pretty much all of the product catalog is suitable for Mother's Day. I think there's no real, like it's just about your creativity.
Yeah, so I lost my place in the questions, so I'm going to get back to that in a second. So we did some analysis over the last 3 weeks on a lot of products in the catalog, and the products that we see drive the most sales across the board. And we'll actually, maybe we'll try to put together a report or something and get it out, but it's likely not going to be until after Mother's Day. But Love Not obviously is a huge seller. You also have Alluring Beauty, which is a big one. Let's see, Love Not, Alluring Beauty, Forever Love does pretty good. Interlocking Hearts does pretty good. The graphic pendants do pretty well, specifically the dog tags and the circular pendant. You also have the Cuban link necklace does really well. And there are a few others that I'm kind of missing here, but those tend to do really well. Mario said that he usually starts with Love Not just because Love Not's kind of a proven seller. So if you test with Love Not, if you test a new designer phrase with Love Not and it doesn't sell, it's a good chance it's not because the jewelry is scaring people away. It's likely definitely due to the phrase and the design. So that's what I would say to kind of stick to for Mother's Day. So Love Not, Alluring Beauty, Forever Love, Interlocking Hearts. Forever Love is kind of a romantic piece. It's the heart with the cubic zirconia in the middle. So, that's probably not going to work great for Mother's Day. Eternal Hope might be a good one, but those are the ones that tend to work. All right, give me a second, folks. I totally lost my place here. I'm going to have to find some other questions. I'm starting it from the bottom here this time. So if you have a question, I haven't answered it yet, start writing it in the chat. Here's a good one. What's the best software used to make the cards?
So I just use Canva. All of my, well, not all, majority of my winning message cards are made in Canva. And talking about 7 figures and above message cards. So Canva is all you really need. We do have the designs which we put out to the public, and I've seen people do 6 and 7 figures with just our designs that we put out there in the public. They just put their own message on them, and then they can scale to the moon. So I think with the ones that we put out, I think they're PSD, so you probably need to use like Photopia or something like that to edit those. Again, I think that's free and it's an online platform. But yeah, like if in terms of ease of use, I think there's nothing like Canva, and that's why it's like a huge multi-billion-dollar company, because it's literally like so easy for anyone to pick up, and like it's like Microsoft Word for designing message cards, really.
Yeah, I mean, Canva is probably the easiest and go to, and it's free and it's drag and drop. I mean, anybody can use it. I really like Photoshop. That's just me, but I've been using Photoshop literally since I was like 14. So I kind of know it around, and I know all the shortcuts and the hotkeys. And if I want a certain effect, I just kind of know how to make it happen. But if you're new and starting out, I definitely agree. Canva is probably the place to go, especially for message cards, because you don't need anything super complex with message cards. All right. Sorry, folks. When I lost my place there, it kind of messed me up here. I think this one's decent. Thanks for the Q&A Mother's Day design. My Mother's Day design is getting no clicks. What might be the reason? Design phrase not resonating. How to test quotes. Let's see if you can answer that in 60 seconds.
So I would probably, so this is where I deviate away from everyone else. Everyone sort of says, look at, click-through rate, CPC, and all of this other wow factor metrics. I just look at purchase. I have my set budget that I test the product with, and I let it spend that, and I judge based on purchases. Because what I've found, like even like when I'm testing recently, sometimes those metrics can be really bad, but it gets a purchase after it spends $15, right? So and actually a lot of people in coaching also get the same experience on Facebook, for example. Like the metrics look really bad in the bottom section, but it produces purchases. So all that could mean is it's not many people are clicking, but it's showing it to relevant people that are like really hot to purchase. So it's bidding higher in the auction, and it's doing what the algorithm's supposed to. But if you analyze the data of like just click-through rate and all of these lower funnel metrics, you may actually miss out on a winning product. So I'd probably, if you want my opinion, I'd probably go and look up Dirty 30 testing method. The most latest one was 3.0, which we discussed in Coffee with Michael a couple of weeks ago. That's my go-to. So I actually spend like $45 per CBO before I decide, is this test failed or not? Because more times than not, especially like even I've had this happen to me in the past couple of days where, all of the metrics look crap, and then, 2 purchases, 3 purchases like on that ad set. So I kind of don't judge on lower funnel metrics, especially with attribution. So you'll find that it's missing a lot of data from Apple. So maybe showing to Apple devices, and that's not showing straight away in the ads manager, and it'll come up in a couple of days, sort of thing. So I would probably, if you have a product and you create a test, let it test out and then make a decision. Could it be the phrase? Could it be the design? So I stick to some sort of standard format in testing. So you create your message card with a creative, and you test multiple phrases, and then when you do multiple iterations, then you can look at the other stuff. So just keep a sort of standard testing format, and then basically make a decision based on that.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting because everybody kind of has a different method here. I'm more kind of in your boat. Now, granted, you guys now do most of the scaling in the company, or all of the scaling in the company rather, but I was always kind of dependent upon sales as well. That was usually like the only metric that could really get my attention. But everybody's got a different, way up the mountain. Mario will look at, I believe he'll look at kind of his click-through rate and kind of make decisions based on that. And then Chris Blair kind of famously here tests all of his ads on PPE first, or link clicks. I think he just recently changed it to link clicks or landing page views. And he'll test for like $5 and he'll just read the initial metrics on how much engagement there was on the campaign and then make decisions on that. So everybody's kind of got a different way up the mountain here. I don't know that any of them are wrong, but if you're brand new, don't try to figure it out on your own. Just find a method and then just master that method. I would recommend, I kind of learned by just focusing on purchases. That's what Kirsta just said. I just repeated it. I think you should start there because it's easy and it works. And again, it's about lowering that learning curve. You don't have to pay attention to all the other stuff if purchases is the number one signal you're looking for in all the noise. All right. Let's shift gears here a little bit. I'll do, let's maybe do 3 more questions. But let's come back here. I'd like to see some different questions that we haven't maybe had yet. Feel free to ask about some stuff we're doing in support, future of ShineOn, maybe coming product categories, mindset stuff. Let's hear some questions that we haven't seen yet. Let's answer maybe 3 more and then we'll wrap this thing up. Give me a second. I'm going to kind of scale through what's here or scroll through what's here just in case I missed any. And I may not be seeing everybody's questions. Looks like some folks are saying that too. So I'm actually going to pull up the post in Facebook as well. So let's see here. It actually looks like I'm getting quite a few of them. Scrolling through the questions here. So this is kind of an interesting one. Where do you guys envision ShineOn 5 years from now? What other product categories will be available? Will people be buying our products on the metaverse using MetaCoins? Okay, so 5 years from now is a little bit steep. Maybe I can try to answer 1 year from now or 3 years from now. I can tell you that we are rapidly trying to expand into other product categories, not just jewelry. We love the jewelry. We'll always have jewelry, but we want to get into some other premium. We want to be kind of the premium offering in each product category we get into. So we have some really cool ideas around kind of canvases and combining that. Well, I don't want to give too much away. We got some really cool ideas to be the premium canvas offering in the print-on-demand space. There's kind of leather stuff we're getting into. This will be this year. There's acrylic offerings we want to get into. Like if you've seen the dropship stuff where there's acrylic on little light stands, we want to get into that. We're working on that. Another thing is name necklaces. We've got some really neat ideas around what to do with name necklaces to be the premier offering there. We hit a little bit of a snag. We were going to offer name necklaces last year. Unfortunately, we had some issues with the machines that we purchased, and we've been kind of trying to work those out ever since. But there's a lot of that, like other product categories there. Plus, there's print-on-demand categories that I don't even think have been tapped yet in our space that we want to kind of get into. So we've got a whole release calendar planned for the rest of the year. And we're really excited to get into some of the new verticals, especially as we run up to Q4 here. We're super excited about that. Where we're going to be 3 years from now, we really want to build ShineOn into a $1 billion company. So we want to not only have premium offerings in each of the product categories that we get into, kind of in the same way we did with jewelry, where we own the manufacturing line end to end. We fulfill it here in the United States. We have really fast shipping. We have a fulfillment center in Europe, so that we have fast shipping over there. We're really working on implementing lean methodologies inside of our fulfillment center so that we can raise quality and decrease fulfillment times at the same time. We just invested in new printers for all of our message cards. So we're going to see an improvement in message card quality. There's some new white labeling stuff we want to offer around that. But in addition to those things, we also want to build out a really kind of incredible courses and coaching offering for everybody. So we want to kind of be the premier coaching and course, have the premier kind of coaching and coursing programs for print on demand. We literally want to offer cream of the crop stuff. And what's cool is, unlike a lot of kind of gurus where they don't really sell anymore, they don't really have a big store anymore, they're not doing the stuff. We have an entire media buying team inside that is constantly selling our own stuff. As Eric Taz likes to say, we eat our own dog food here. So when we turn that around into educational material, you're going to know that we gain those insights from selling the products just like you. And by the way, our media buying teams and stuff, they don't get discounts on base prices or anything like that. They are literally selling the product just like you would sell it. So if it works for them, we have a very high degree of confidence that it's going to work for you. So we have all kinds of plans around that. So hopefully that helped. I did want to talk real quick. I've been excited about this. We hired some additional help on our seller support teams. So our support teams are already great, led by Luna, who's absolutely amazing. So no issues there. But we kind of want to take things to the next level. So we've hired somebody that comes in with a lot of experience. They're going to help us build out tiered support, VIP support. So if you're a top seller and you write in, you're going to be able to get a very close to immediate response from seller support. And we're also working on exploring the idea of having phone support as well. So it's very, very early stages on all of that, but we're making some waves. So that was a good question. I like that one. All right, I'm going to see if I can find two others that are a little bit different. And then I think we're going to wrap this up. Here's one. Any possibility to bring rings this year? So that's a really good question. And the answer is yes. I'm almost certain of it. In fact, sit tight for me just a second. I'm going to look at our launch calendar because I'm almost certain it's on our launch calendar here. Yes, we have some rings we're working on for you. So there is your answer to that. Confirmed. All right. Let's see. Will you offer ShineOn with GrooveKit? Okay, so we'll have more to share later, but we're making some changes right now inside the company and pivoting some resources. And there's a chance we're going to kind of go crazy with integrations before Q4. Now, again, we're moving some things around. I'll have definites to share with everybody soon. We're not quite there yet, but we're moving some resources around now to get in front of it. We are going to be working on getting into the Shopify App Store. We're going to be working on an Amazon integration, like a legit Amazon integration. This should make selling and listing on Amazon much easier. We also want to get into WooCommerce, BigCommerce, and a bunch of other platforms. So will GrooveCart be part of that? Perhaps. I can't make any promises, but we are working on it. All right. Let's see. I'll do one more, and then we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Any others? Here, this is going to be an easy one, but I'm gonna look for one more good one. What about men's wallets? Yes, men's wallets. They're coming. All right, what else? Sabrina says, I'm waiting for the name necklaces. The entire company has this like built up, anticipation for the name necklaces. We all want it. We're working as hard as we can to bring it to you. But keep in mind, we want to be the premium offering when it gets here. So it's important for us to take our time and make sure that we do it right. Okay, how many employees does ShineOn have? Last count was over 125, and that was a few weeks ago. I don't know the exact number. I actually talked to our VP of HR. He doesn't know the exact number either. It's north of 125. We're just not sure exactly what it is. It's fluid. But if that gives you any insight, I mean, we're running a machine over here. We have media buying team. We have a whole creative team, graphic designers, photographers. We've got our entire accounts team, which many of you in the selling community know. Behind that, though, we have an entire merchandising team that helps us source products that we could not survive without. All of our fulfillment teams, both in the Netherlands and the United States, they are literally the heartbeat of the company. They're the muscle that holds this whole thing up. Without them, we would not exist. So we appreciate them. I want to give them props because they deserve it. We have a whole development team, that's constantly working on bringing us new features. Every time we launch a new product, the development team's got to get involved. New machines, the development team has to get involved. So they're kind of a glue that holds us all together as well. We've got project managers. We have HR. I mean, we've just it's a lot. It's a lot. This is an entire company over here. But we found. Taza said from the beginning that he wanted to do the hard things nobody else in the business was doing to build the company into something unique. And I think when you look across the competitors, you'll see that we are unique, right? We're not outsourcing our manufacturing to China or anything like that. I mean, we're doing the tough stuff right here to try to be something a little different. So anyways, we hope you feel it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find one more unique question. If not, that is going to be the end of it. Let's see. Oop. This one. What are the top 3 things for maintaining proper mindset for success? By the way, we'll answer Michelle's question after this because I don't want you to think we're dodging it. What are the top 3 things for maintaining proper mindset for success? Kirsta, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah. So top 3 things for maintaining a proper mindset. One is detaching yourself from outcomes. So don't expect anything, just do, and everything else will come. Number 2 would probably be also distancing yourself from dollar signs, because if you practice proper risk management and proper approaches, you don't get emotional, because sometimes having that emotion in place can actually hurt you really exponentially. So think about, right now you're managing $100. That then becomes $1,000 and then $10,000. You kind of need to apply the same rules which you apply at $100 at $10,000. If you let things ride at $100, you're going to let things ride at $1,000. So really just detaching yourself from dollar signs and just, being a machine and applying whatever rules you set out. And number 3 would be to practice, mindset exercises, to eat fairly well, exercise, diet, like all that sort of stuff makes a huge difference. And also taking breaks, not just, doing your day's work and then doing ShineOn for everything else that you have left, because you want to put your best products out there and you want to, make sure that you give your best chance of success. I think that those top 3 things should really set you up for success.
All right, so these were the first 3 that came to mind, but I really feel like I could talk about mindset stuff forever because I'm just very interested in the subject as a whole. But so my top 3 would be, number 1, don't give up, right? I'd like to say if you don't give up for long enough, you win. I think that's true, not just about e-commerce, but literally everything in life. If you don't give up for long enough, you will win eventually. I could get into that more, but don't give up. Like, you stick through the pain, stick through the discomfort, hang on to it when everybody else is giving up, and you will gain things that no one else has if you can do that. And that will give you an edge that is not easily, replicable. So do not give up. That's number 1. 2 is take action, take massive action. You literally cannot be the person that before you do something, you got to watch a bunch of videos and you got to read about it, and then you got to plan it out in your mind. You need to mind map it, and then you got to write the process out, and you cannot be the person that is constantly like, you need everything perfect. You need to get out there and take imperfect action, right? It's going to be messy. That's okay. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. You're going to fail. Like newsflash, that is going to happen. 99% of the time, you are likely going to fail, right? This is where the not giving up part comes into play. Take action, though. At the end of the day, the best way to learn on any of this stuff is just getting out there and doing it. If you ever want to hit a grand slam, you got to stand at the plate and swing at the ball. And you're going to miss, and you're going to look stupid every now and then, and you might get hit with the ball even. But you got to get up there and do it, or you're never going to hit a grand slam. So take tons of action. So number 1 is don't give up. 2 is take action. And then the final one for me is own everything. Own everything. So what I mean by that is you should literally, like, top to bottom in your entire life, not just with campaigns, but literally own everything that happens to you. I'm a big believer. Look, you can probably take this too far, but I'm a big believer that your life is your fault. So, if you're trying and you're not getting results, well, you need to figure out, you need to own that. The only reason you're not getting results is your fault at the end of the day. You need to figure out what you need to do to get those results. What are you doing wrong? What do you need to do differently? What lessons have you not learned yet? You need to dive into that deeply. I'm a big person about, like, staring pain in the eyes and just taking it, just accepting it. And that's what this comes down to. You need to literally own everything. Own all your mistakes, own the results that you're not getting, own the message card that you wasted a ton of money on and didn't get a profit from, own the ad platforms that you don't know yet, own the holiday that you didn't take any action on because you were stuck in analysis paralysis. Literally own all that stuff. The other thing I would say is there are layers to the onion here. You need to own all the stuff underneath that too. For example, let's pretend you don't have enough time to work on this. Well, why are you not? You could be getting up earlier before work. This is what I did for years. Oh, well, you're tired. Well, why are you tired? Is it because you're watching Netflix the night before? Is it because you don't have energy? Is it because your diet sucks and you're not taking care of your body? Like, literally, there are layers to the onion here, and you need to dive really deep in that, face all the pain, face all the uncomfortable stuff, and just deal with that. So if you literally own everything, it's like a life hack for everything. And it will also help you here when it comes to something simple like running your Facebook campaigns or TikTok campaigns and being profitable. So that's what I would say. So don't give up, take action, and own everything. All right.
Bonus patience as well. Like sometimes the tortoise wins the race, right? So this is a good example from last year. We had someone in Triumph that basically gave up just before the volume increase in Mother's Day. So they had some sort of consistency, but something happened in their mindset and they gave up. And then what I saw was that person gave up, and then someone else took that same phrase and rode that phrase, and it did I think over 6 figures in revenue. So it just shows you that, if you quit here, you're going to miss out on this thing. So you just got to have that consistency and patience as well. Set a plan, follow through with the plan, and just don't give up so easily. Tortoise can win the race.
I would say that I want to give Kirsta some props here. Like a year or two ago, I had a product that I ran to a little over $1 million in something like 65 days or something. And Kirsta latched onto the phrase that I had done that on. I actually thought I had kind of squeezed all the juice there was to squeeze out of this product. Kirsta grabbed onto it, and he ended up pulling another 2 or 3 million in revenue out of it just by testing different things that I hadn't tested. Variations on the phrase, variations on the design. And look, I didn't like that. That made me very uncomfortable. It made me regret some things, right? Like not trying harder, not testing. But you know what? Facts are facts. Kirsta got out there and tested, and he was creative, and he deserved every additional penny he got out of that product that I didn't. He did things I never would have done. And I had to use that as kind of a learning opportunity for myself and to grow, right? So anyways, I better stop. I'm going to keep going. Let's answer this very, very quickly, and then I want to end with the quote, and we'll wrap this up. All right. So Michelle asked, Kirsta, do you still sell on the platform?
Currently, no. We may look at testing some things on the platform, but really, I think platforms are a good place to start. For myself, I'm much more advanced. So I'm testing like other aspects, like landing pages and conversion rate optimization, SMS, email. Like I'm testing like the whole funnel. Like I'm really invoked, but I'd not recommend like really jumping into Shopify and all of the technicalities that comes with it if you're starting out. Like I started on the platform, and I scaled to multi-million dollars on the platform. It's definitely a much more streamlined and easier place to get familiar with all the terminology. And then like once you build up some experience, you can move into Shopify, because you got to think of all the other moving parts. If you're in Shopify, you got to have customer support, you got to have email and SMS flows, you got to understand how to set up all of these apps and stuff. So it's much more of a learning curve rather than just creating a product and testing a product with a marketing channel. So that ease of entrance is definitely there on the platform. So I'd still recommend starting out there. And I mean, you can still build out a store and practice on Shopify if you have the bandwidth for it, but you don't have to actually run any traffic on it. At least you build the skills on Shopify. So if you get to that point, you can move to Shopify. But yeah, it's more a sense like I want to control everything and test much more things that you can't do on the platform. But it's kind of like a good place to start, because everything is kind of done for you, so you don't need to think about all the stuff that I'm thinking about right now, and it's so much more work.
So interesting kind of evolution of the platform. So Kirsta did several million on the platform. In fact, you may have been our top platform seller of all time. I'd have to go look at the data to see if that's still true. But we've noticed over the years that our sellers tend to have more success on Shopify. So let me explain that a little bit. So since iOS 14 hit last year in particular, and Facebook's algorithms have become more sophisticated, we have had to do more and more on the platform to make it a good and safe place to sell. So that includes things like the custom domains, some of the changes we've made to the product page, and so on. And as we've done some of these things, one of the things we've noticed is, there are just some inefficiencies on the platform that we're trying to fix, right? We're trying to fix. So the page is slower than we would like it to be. We want the page to be a little faster. There's some things that we have done lots of conversion rate testing on that do incredible in our tests. And then when they go live, they do incredible out of the gate. But once a few hundred sellers are using them, the conversion rate tends to go down. And there are things like that we're studying and we're trying to figure out so that we can resolve. However, we're just finding that there's some work we need to do with our platform to make it fire on all cylinders like it was kind of a year and a half ago. So I just say that to kind of balance out. The platform feels like the easiest place to begin. It's the easiest place to kind of learn the fundamentals. You don't have to deal with all the variables that you have to deal with Shopify. It's already branded. The trust element's already there. You literally just have to focus on the design and the ads, and all that's great. And it's great for learning the fundamentals. To achieve big scale, though, we're seeing a lot of people do that more so on the app, the Shopify app, than the platform. That's not to say you can't scale on the platform. We are still seeing that as well. Suhail scaled to big numbers for Valentine's Day on the platform. I mean, that still happens. So I'm not discounting that. However, I am saying that I'm just being honest with everybody. We're seeing sellers have more success overall on the app right now than we are in the platform. And as ShineOn, we've looked at that and we said, okay, we're going to start building focus groups to figure out what we need to fix on the platform. And we're going to make some decisions about the platform to try to make you more successful. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what it's about. So I didn't want anybody to feel like we were dodging that question. So I wanted to answer it. Hope you appreciate the honesty. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm going to quit with a quote here. It's going to be this Jeff Bezos quote. So Gail says, I love the Grand Slam saying. I know Matt Ba who I've seen in chat multiple times here. He's a big fan of this one too. This is kind of the quote that sums up print on demand and e-commerce and the opportunity that you have here. And it goes a little bit something like this. So again, think about the mindset here. This is the mindset that makes this e-commerce thing work. So here it goes. Outsized returns often come from betting against conventional wisdom. And conventional wisdom is usually right. Given a 10% chance of 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time. But you're still going to be wrong 9 times out of 10. We all know that if you swing for the fences, you are going to strike out a lot, but you're also going to hit some home runs. The difference between baseball and business, or baseball and e-commerce, or print on demand, however, is that baseball has a truncated outcome distribution. When you swing, no matter how well you connect with the ball, the most runs you can get is 4. In business, every once in a while, when you step up to the plate, you can score 1,000 runs. This long-tailed distribution of returns is why it's important to be bold. Big winners pay for so many experiments. And that's what I was saying earlier. My first time scaling, I think I had $1,500 when I stepped up to the plate and turned it into 40K. And I did that many times after that. Kirsta has had the same experience. Almost everybody in e-commerce or print on demand is the same way. They step up to the plate, and instead of hitting a grand slam and the most they achieve is 4 runs, they get 1,000 runs, right? That is the goal. Now, they may have struck out 98 times to get there, right? But the one time they step up and they truly hit the grand slam in e-commerce or print on demand is literally what makes all of this worth it. It pays for all the other times they stepped up at the plate, swing and miss. All right, everybody. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's Coffee with Michael. Told you is the best way to kick off the weekend. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy selling out there, and go swing for the fences. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.